Responsibility is treated as a baseline condition of adult life. Decisions are assumed to be faced, not deferred. Commitment is regarded as the natural conclusion of deliberation. Across roles and institutions, this standard is repeated without emphasis. A decision exists to be made. Time is understood to move regardless of personal readiness. Outcomes are expected to be met, not postponed. Hesitation is publicly framed as a neutral pause. Delay is described as caution. Non-commitment is labeled flexibility. These descriptions are widely accepted. They are rarely challenged. The prevailing standard holds that choice is unavoidable. Silence is treated as a response. Inaction is recorded as a position. The absence of decision is still registered within systems that continue to operate. Responsibility is not announced, it is assumed. Deadlines exist without reminders. Consequences proceed without negotiation. Social structures function on resolved positions. Processes advance when a stance is taken. Authority is assigned to those who conclude, not those who linger. Within this framework, hesitation is permitted only as a temporary state. It is tolerated when it leads to resolution. It is understood as part of consideration, not a substitute for it. This expectation appears stable. It is reinforced in professional roles, civic duties, and private agreements. No justification is demanded for acting. Only explanations are required for delay. The standard remains consistent. A choice is expected. A position is assumed. Responsibility is not optional. The failure is not confusion. It is not lack of information. It is not absence of capacity. The failure is repeated non-commitment. Decisions are approached, then withheld. Options are reviewed, then left unresolved. Moments that require closure are allowed to expire. This pattern persists despite clarity. The choice is understood. The conditions are visible. The consequences are known. The behavior does not change. Intent is present. Deliberation occurs. Language of readiness is used. Action does not follow. The same sequence repeats. Consideration replaces conclusion. Delay replaces resolution. Time advances. The position remains unclaimed. This is not occasional hesitation. It is sustained deferral. It occurs across decisions of different weight. It appears under pressure, and without it, the lapse is consistent. Non-decision is treated as neutrality. Silence is mistaken for openness. Withdrawal is mislabeled flexibility. These labels persist even as outcomes accumulate without consent. The failure does not correct itself. Repetition does not reduce it. Awareness does not interrupt it. Opportunities pass without being taken or rejected. Responsibilities wait without being accepted or refused. The stance remains absent. This absence becomes habitual. It is maintained even when delay produces visible cost. It continues even after prior lapses are recognized. The pattern is stable. This is not a transitional state. It does not move toward resolution. It does not conclude on its own. The failure holds its position. Commitment is deferred again. Closure is postponed again. Responsibility is avoided again. No external force is required for this pattern to persist. It sustains itself through repetition. The failure remains intact under scrutiny. It remains intact after reflection. It remains intact after consequence. This is the point of failure. The internal record shows repeated suspension. Mental engagement begins, then stalls. Attention circles options without closing on one. There is no sense of completion. Deliberation ends without conclusion. The mind remains occupied after the moment has passed. Decisions linger as unfinished items. They return without invitation. They occupy space without resolution. A persistent gap is present. Effort is expended without finality. Energy is used without discharge. The internal state does not settle. There is no internal mark of closure. Nothing signals that a matter is finished. This produces a flatness, not agitation, not distress, absence. The internal field feels unfilled. Motion occurs without arrival. Thought continues without outcome. Repeated deferral leaves no internal record of completion. There is no accumulation of resolved moments. There is no sense of sequence advancing. Instead, there is repetition. The same unresolved considerations reappear. They are neither acted upon nor dismissed. Silence replaces decision internally. The mind registers delay as continuation. Nothing is marked as done. This condition persists across time. It does not vary with importance. It does not vary with clarity. The internal landscape shows gaps where conclusions should exist. These gaps do not close on their own. They remain open. Over time, the absence becomes noticeable. There is less internal density, less substance. Thought continues. Intent is present. Completion is missing. This pattern is consistent. It leaves an internal emptiness. The outward effect stabilizes as absence. Presence becomes optional. Input is no longer required. Responses arrive late or not at all. Positions remain undefined. Others proceed without waiting. Decisions are reassigned. Choices are closed elsewhere. Processes move forward without reference. Participation narrows. Invitations decrease. Expectations lower without announcement. Silence is interpreted as consent or withdrawal. Neither requires confirmation. Both produce the same result. Relevance fades through non-appearance, not removal, replacement. Roles remain occupied but loosely. Authority bypasses the unresolved. Responsibility flows around the undecided. This effect does not fluctuate. It persists across settings. It holds under visibility and distance. Timing no longer aligns. Moments pass without engagement. Decisions conclude without contribution. The individual is not opposed, not resisted, simply excluded by motion. Acknowledgement becomes rare. Outputs decrease. Impact diminishes. Others stop seeking alignment. They stop requesting closure. They stop registering delay as meaningful. The pattern becomes predictable. No adjustment is made in response. No correction is expected. The external field adapts. It removes dependence. It reduces exposure. What remains is peripheral placement, close enough to observe, too distant to affect. This consequence holds steady. It does not escalate. It does not reverse. Irrelevance becomes the fixed condition. The diagnosis is fixed. Hesitation has moved beyond uncertainty. It has become a standing condition. Responsibility is not absent by chance. It is consistently unclaimed. Decisions are not denied. They are left unresolved. This pattern does not require confusion to persist. It does not depend on difficulty. It remains present under clarity and repetition. The internal record shows accumulation without closure. The external field shows motion without reference. These indicators align. What appears as openness is non-commitment. What is labeled ease is avoidance. The interpretation fails under observation. The cost does not fluctuate. It settles. Inner space thins. Relevance erodes. No counterforce emerges on its own. Awareness does not interrupt the pattern. Time does not correct it. The system adapts around the absence. Decisions are finalized elsewhere. Movement continues without pause. This outcome does not announce itself. It does not escalate dramatically. It stabilizes quietly. The diagnosis stands without remedy. Hesitation functions as refusal without declaration. Responsibility remains untouched. This condition holds. It does not resolve.